Good day, everybody. I'm Sunny, and I would like to share to you some reminders in preparing the GAD plan and budget for 2026. We understand we are about to prepare our GAD plan and budget for 2026, and there are some considerations that we have to um, take into account so that we could ensure that our plan will become more gender responsive and inclusive. Yan. So these are just some practical tips. But of course, we also have our references on this one. So let's start. Before we continue with our GAD plan and budget, or before we start with our GAD plan and budget, it's a good thing if we start reviewing the policy and the legal basis. So we understand marami ang mga ito, pero pwede nating tingnan yung ilan, especially for those who are new o kaya medyo nakalimutan na ng konti ang iba pang mga basehan sa paggawa natin ng God Plan and Budget. So tingnan natin kung ang ating plano ay naka-align sa Republic Act 9710. Ano ito? Ito yung Magna Carta of Women. So tingnan din natin ang Joint Circular 2012 -01 of PCW or Philippine Commission on Women, NEDA, National Economic Development Authority, and the other one is DBM, of course, Department of Budget and Management. Tingnan din natin ang Sustainable Development Goal number 5 at i-revisit natin ang GMEF tool or yung Gender Mainstreaming Evaluation Framework. Ito pa lang yung ating ginawa nitong mga nakaraan. Tingnan ang resulta ng GMEF ng bawat eskwelahan. Doon sa shinare ko din po sa inyo sa group chat itong GMEF. Napakahalaga nito kasi malalaman natin kung ano na ang rating natin from 1 to 5 doon sa, for example, sa policy part. So, number 1 is policy. Yung sunod ay people. Yung pangatlo ay enabling mechanism. At yung pang-apat ay yung ating PAPs for the programs, activities, and projects. Or yung PPAs natin. Ganon din yun. And then, it's also a good thing if we revisit the agency's GAD focal point system guidelines. So, meron pag sinearch po natin yan online, madaling makita ano yung ating GAD focal point system guidelines. Paano nagfa-function yung ating GAD focal point system na tayo ay kabahagi. So that's number 1, review, policy, and legal basis. Kailangan lang nating balikan. No? Kailangan nating balikan. Especially yung Magna Carta of Women and the other documents which I mentioned. Next, we also have to review the previous year's GAD accomplishment report. So tingnan natin, we have to analyze the 2025 GAD accomplishment report for lessons learned. So alam nyo naman, maraming bagay ang nagbabago, nag-i-evolve, no? Maraming bagay tayo mga inaaral in relation to gender and development implementation. Maaring doon sa mga nag-a-assist ngayon, sa mga principals, for example, ay medyo matagal na tayong hindi nag-review, no? So, at least itong plano natin for 2025 na matatapos na, no? Tingnan natin, ano dito yung ating mga nagawa, yung hindi nagawa, ano yung kailangan bigyan diin sana na hindi natin nabigyan diin o hindi tayo nakapag-implement, for example, yung kulang o yung sa tingin ninyo kulang pa na kailangan, i-include pa rin sa ating plano for 2026. And then kung may nakita kayo na mga kailangan idagdag or isama, hindi idagdag but rather isama for 2026, pwede nating isama, no? And then we have to focus on gender impact and beneficiaries reach. So we understand that generally, yung pinaka-main natin ng mga beneficiaries supposedly for the program, alam natin ay yung mga bata, no? Yung mga bata. And of course, we need to include yung ating mga teachers and the non-teaching personnel. Yan, kasi tayo magkakasama sa school community. At kung may pagkakataon pa, kakayanin ng inyong fund ay pwede nating ma-include no, yung ating mga magulang, yung parents ng mga bata so that yung tinuturo natin sa mga bata ay naiintindihan din ng mga magulang para pareho tayo ng understanding. I would like to give emphasis more, especially no sa ating mga guards, no? Yung ating mga guards, we have to include them when we talk about teaching and the non-teaching personnel. I-involve natin yung ating mga guards, especially sa training, no, on how to become more gender sensitive. Bakit? Kasi sila po ang nasa front line. Silang una-unang nakakasalubong, nakakasalamuha, hindi lang ng mga bata but also with the parents and other visitors. So, mas maganda na yung mga guards, pagpasok pa lang ng mga tao sa ating eskwelahan ay marunong mag-handle at gender sensitive yung pamamaraan ng pag-handle, no? Sa lahat ng mga kasamahan natin sa school community. Next ay to conduct a gender analysis. Marami din po nito ng mga videos, for example, sa YouTube, kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng gender analysis, paano siya ginagawa. Pero basically, dyan papasok yung ating naalala ninyo ang Hagadaga tool na meron doon ng steps, no? Yung mga beneficiaries supposedly ay kasama doon sa pagdi-discuss tungkol sa mga objectives ng mga programs, ng mga projects, yung mga activities, at tinatanong natin sila kung ano yung kanilang kailangan. We also need to consider sex disaggregated data. Yan, napakahalaga po nun. Ilan ang babae, ilan ang lalaki, at iba pang mga detalye nun. For example, hindi lang yung male and female, but the other details. Sabi nga, for example, ilan dyan ang PWD, ilan dyan ang senior citizens, ilan dyan ang solo parents, and many more. So, pwede pa nating ma-disaggregate yung data na yan. What else? To identify gender issues and their root causes. So, for example, bigyan natin ng halimbawa sa eskwelahan. Pagdating sa, lagi kong binibigay itong halimbawa, learners at risk of dropping out. Sino dyan ang marami? In general, sa mga nakita nating mga datos dati, marami dito ay mga kalalakihan. So, pwede nating i-check. We have to identify the gender issues. Bakit yung mga lalaki? No? So we can conduct interview, we can conduct focus group discussion to find out anong dahilan bakit mga lalaki ang mas marami pagdating doon sa mga possible na magda-drop out or doon sa mga nagda-drop out talaga. And then para pag na-find out natin ang dahilan, pwede nating makonsider yan as a gender issue na pwede nating i-address at i-include natin dyan sa ating God plan and budget. So in that sense, kung titingnan natin, magiging gender responsive tayo mismo kasi nung nakita natin ang numero at nakita natin na there is a need to help kasi mas marami ang mga kalalakihang nagda-drop out, then we can formulate probably a project, an activity, a project for them to address that issue. And by doing that, because there is an action, we will become more gender responsive. What else? To translate findings into measurable objectives. So, yan ang sabi natin kanina. Tingnan ng Hagadaga, yung mga steps doon, ano ba yung nagawa natin. Sundan natin yon para mas maging gender responsive, magiging inclusive yung ating plano. And then yung GMEF, Gender Mainstreaming Evaluation Framework. Tingnan natin saan tayo mababa dyan. At i-consider natin yon sa ating plano. And then tingnan din natin yung number of male and female, yung disaggregated data, mas pinalalim pang datos para makonsider natin yan doon sa ating pagpaplano. By that, makikita natin ano yung gender issues at mapapalalim pa natin. We have to find out the root cause. Bakit nangyayari ito? Bakit mas marami ang mga, for example, tingnan ninyo sa graduation o kaya doon sa inyong mga um, anong tawag nito? Sa inyong recognition day. Alin dyan ang nagpi-perform, mga babae or lalaki? Tingnan ninyo ang numero and alamin ninyo kung bakit. At sino ang mas nangangailangan ng tulong pag bumalik na tayo sa classroom, given the number that we have, no? Considering that more or less ang boys and girls ay halos magkapareho lang naman more or less ang number sa isang eskwelahan. So bakit na-out how is it, na-outnumber ng mga kababaihan yung mga kalalakihan, for example, in terms of their performance, no? O tingnan natin. And we have to translate those findings into measurable objectives in terms of sino dapat ang tutulungan considering the number. Makikita natin yan. So more or less, that's under gender analysis and finding out the gender issue at the back of the number or the data. Next, to align with agency's mandate and plans. Ayan, and plans. So, and plans yan. So, there we have to ensure GAD programs complement the agency's strategic and operational plans. Mamaya may papakita ko sa inyo at present ano ba ang GAD agenda ng DepEd. We will present to you. Ito'y draft nila. As far as we know, they are going to issue. There will be an issuance in relation to this, but we can consider already these findings na pwede nating include sa ating GAD plan and budget for 2026. Next one is to integrate GAD into core programs and projects. So, dyan sa atin, especially sa mga programs natin, sa mga projects, sa mga activities, pwede nating ma-integrate dyan yung gender and development. Tingnan natin paano. Sa bahaging ito, actually, kailangan din natin ng training dyan sa mga teachers on how we are going to integrate GAD across curriculum. Ayan, or across learning areas. We have to check. Kasi kung hindi rin natin makapacitate, matrain yung mga teachers, baka kahit sa paggawa ng mga test questions nila, sa pagtrato ng mga learners, at kung sino yung tutulungan, pag wala sila ng gender lens, hindi pa nila magagawa yun. Hindi pa sila magiging gender sensitive and much more magiging gender responsive. So if that is the case, you can also include that one as part of your plan na meron ng capacity building for teachers, no? Okay. Next. Ito yung binabanggit ko sa inyo kanina. So, I'll start with this one, itong nasa extreme left. Makikita dyan ang gender issue or GAD mandate. At pupunta ako doon sa sunod na column on the program, the project, or activity. Yan ang tinutukoy nating PPAs. Makikita nyo rin papunta dito sa kanan yung year 1, for example, anong target? Like 30%, 50% sa year 2, 70% sa year 3, 100% na dapat sa year 4, sa year 5, and year 6 ay 50% of deputy officials, administrators recognized as GAD champions. So, bumaba siya pero ang description dyan ay naging GAD champions na dapat sila, 50% of them after those programs, projects, and activities. Now, let me start with the gender issue kasi dito tayo nag-uumpisa o kaya mandate. For example, ano mga issue? Ang sabi dito, tingnan din ninyo ito kung totoong nangyayari ito sa inyong mga eskwelahan kaya sa inyong division, for example, o kahit man sa region. Nakalagay dito, low level of commitment from top management on gender and development. So, probably, of course, we're talking about GAD implementation. San ba yan? Whether that's in the division, in our schools, ganyan ba ang issue sa inyo? So, that's an issue. Kasi mababa ang level ng commitment ng top management na sana ay supportive dito or nagli-lead sa pag-implement ng gender and development program sa ating division o kaya sa ating eskwelahan. Is that an issue in your school? Another one, limited knowledge on integrating gender perspectives in school leadership. So, Maraming ibig sabihin nito sa ating mga PPA, sa ating school improvement plan, for example. Nai-integrate na ba diyan ang ah, God perspectives, no? Nai-integrate na ba? Lalo na kapag hindi pa masyado nakapacitate ang ating mga leaders, no? Sa paggawa ng mga plano, sa eskwelahan, malamang hindi pa yan ma-integrate. That's why there is also a need for us to conduct what? Capacity building, no? Or capacity enhancement kung meron naman na ng dating capacity building na kinundak. Next issue, decreased GMIF or Gender Mainstreaming Evaluation Framework score in the people entry from level 2 installation of a strategic mechanism to level 1 foundation formation. So alam naman natin na meron tayong 5 levels. So yung level 1 ay foundation formation, number 2 nasa installation na, number 3 ay nasa GAD application. Pero instead na tumaas ang nangyayari ngayon, because this is a general observation, for example, for the entire country, bumababa. O siguro, depende sa inyong school ba ay tumataas, lalo na nandito tayo sa National Capital Region. Pero ang trend sa buong bansa ay bumababa, no? Pwede tayong hilahin ng ibang mga lugar, especially if hindi ganun ka-capacitated ang nag implement ng gender and development or iba pang mga possible reasons. So, those are some only of the gender issues, no, na ating binanggit. So, ano dito ang possible program, project, activity, or yung ating PPAs? Sabi dito, ang suggestion dito, conduct deepening sessions, executive briefings, workshops on gender sensitivity training or GST. So you may include this one in your plan, especially kung ang marami kayong mga bago din na mga teachers sa school level yan, for example, pero ang sinasabi dito level of commitment ng top management. O sa inyo, kung nasa school level kayo, ang principal nyo ba, ang assistant principal nyo ba ay committed, very supportive, dapat sila pa ang nagli-lead. Sorry. Dapat sila pa nga ang nagli-lead. Ayan. So sa year 1, ang target ay 30% of them. Year 2, 50, 70 ang year 3. Year 4 ay 100%. Year 5 ay 100%. At dapat sa year 6, dapat 50% of them are God champions already. Kaya bang gawin? So itong matrix na to makikita natin, this can be used as our reference para doon sa pagbuo natin ng plano kung ang mga issues na ito ay nakikita ninyo sa inyong eskwelahan or kung sa division ba niya. Let's proceed to the next. Another issue, no? Other issues here. One is existence of gender-based sexual harassment in basic education institutions and in the workplace. Naku, alamin natin, may mga ganitong mga cases ba tayong hinahandle? Kaya pwede tayong mag-coordinate with the guidance office or sa learner rights and protection. But of course, we have to ensure confidentiality as to these cases, no, of sexual harassment. We understand that's one thing that we have to consider. But as to number, meron ba tayo ng ganitong mga cases? Dahil sa report natin ay hindi lang meron, but marami. So, anong pwedeng gawin? So, another one is curriculum implementation issues. For example, difficulty in integrating God perspectives in the curriculum, gender stereotypes in teaching approaches and instructional materials. Sa ating mga aklat na ginagamit, sa ating modules ba, gender sensitive ba sila? Tingnan natin ang content ng mga yan. Kasi kung ang mga issue na ito ay nakikita natin, anong pwede natin gawin? So, ang nakalagay dyan is inclusion of God topics during the learning action cell or during the in-service training. Yan, kaya Minsan sasabihin, "Oh, hindi kasama diyan ang, hindi kasama ang GAD sa in-service training." Kasama po siya sa GAD agenda na craft ng DepEd, 'no? Kung nakita ito na issue sa inyong eskuwelahan na hindi pa na integrate hindi pa na include doon sa ating, curriculum, 'no, ay dapat, isinasama ito. So, anong mga halimbawa dito? For example, creating a safe, child-friendly, gender-sensitive learning environment. Ito ba ba'y nabibigyang diin, lalo na sa pagtuturo ng ating mga guro? Gender-responsive teaching pedagogies. Yan. Ano ba ang mga um, pamamaraan ng pagtuturo that we include gender responsiveness? And then, do we include also when we discuss about reproductive health, when we discuss about human rights, when we discuss about peace education, child protection, and the use of gender fair language? Yan. So, makikita din natin dito na kung ang ating mga guro ay hindi rin equipped sa ganitong klaseng mga topics, there is a need for us to train them. Kasi ang target dyan, no, at least 50% of teachers are observed to display characteristics of being child-friendly and gender-sensitive as manifested in their classroom observation tool. And then year 2, at least 60%, year 3, 70, year 4, 80, year 5, 90, and 100% of teachers for year 6. Pero pag kaya naman gawin natin ng mga 2 taon lang or 3 taon, the better. Next, and probably this is the last slide for this part. What are the other gender issues? Existence of gender-based sexual harassment in basic education institutions and in the workplace. So may connection ito dun kanina sa una nating binasa. Next one, as to GAD mandates, is to ensure learner-centered and safe environment. So ang ating mga learners ba ay hindi nakakaranas ng gender discrimination? Yan. Do they feel safe doon sa kanilang learning environment or sa eskwelahan kung nasaan sila? Ano ang mga PPAs na pwedeng gawin? Sabi dito, Youth-Led Child Protection Program. Anong mga halimbawa dito? Supreme Learners Government or itong SLG partner with Parent Teachers Association. Meron ba yan ng coordination ng dalawa? And other organization in the development and conduct of activities that protect and promote the rights of every learner using contextualized materials. So what else? May ganung collaboration ba ang ating Supreme Learner Government at saka yung Parents Teachers Association? Are we working together? Another one is topics may include the following. Anong pwedeng mga topics dito kung meron tayong activities in collaboration with the parents and the Supreme Learner Government? Application of Safe Spaces Act. Alam natin yon ng Bawal Bastos Law, RA 11313, in schools and in the community at large. What else? Children's Rights, Child Marriage Protection Act, Online Sexual Abuse and Exploitation of Children, or we call that POSAI, and the Violence Against Women and Children, or VAUC. I would like to include, I would like to suggest, especially for those who are creating GAD plans for 2026, to include this topic on online sexual abuse and exploitation of children, no? Dahil ito yung mas bago doon sa mga dating mga batas, no? In relation to online sexual abuse and even the use of sexual materials, yung SESAIM. Malalaman nyo yan when you research on those things, yung OSAIC and SESAIM, no? So, I would like to suggest sa ating mga GAD focal persons and the GAD focal point system to consider that one and to include that one in your plans. So, sabi dito si year 1 focus on grade 11 to 12 or senior high school. Then year 2 focus on grade 7 to 10. and then focus on grades 4 to 6 in year 3, and then from kinder to grade 3 in year 4, and then year 5 is to maintain partnership for the continuous conduct of youth-led child protection program across grade levels. And year 6 is to maintain partnership for continuous conduct of youth-led child protection program across grade levels. Anong gusto kong banggitin din dito? Napakahalaga kapag tiningnan natin ang gender mainstreaming evaluation framework na hindi tayo nag-i-implement lang ng gender and development na tayo-tayo lang. We have to partner with the local government, with the other organizations, because actually, yung ganong level of practice ay pwede na nating i-model kasi yun yung hinahanap sa gender mainstreaming and evaluation framework, no, sa GMEF, that we collaborate with other agencies, with other local government units, for example, in the implementation of GAD. Dahil alam naman natin na ang buo natin, ang pag-educate natin ng bata ay hindi dapat ito compartmentalized or isolated, no? Na kanya-kanya, but rather we have to help each other. Now, I'll go to the next one. Of course, to ensure the budget allocation compliance, we understand that we are supposed to allocate at least 5% of the total budget for GAD. And the 5% we have to be reminded is just a minimum. It's not a limit because we are supposed to have 100% of the budget to become gender sensitive. Hindi naman ibig sabihin or gender responsive. Hindi naman ibig sabihin gamitin natin yun lahat as direct GAD fund. But rather, ang paggamit ng budget ay dapat nagbe-benefit both ang babae at lalaki sa pag-implement ng programs, projects, and activities. What else? To link budget allocations to GAD outcomes and indicators. So makikita natin ito doon sa GAD agenda pa lang, doon sa ating mga targets, more or less ay ito ba'y naka-align doon sa mga binanggit natin kanina ang ating plan. Eto, actually may iba pang ano yan dyan, may iba pang numbers, pero I'll go directly to number 8. This is one thing that we have to strengthen, itong monitoring and evaluation. Actually, siguro nga every quarter or at least biannually, dalawang beses sa isang taon, chine-check natin, minomonitor natin na ang ating implementation ng gender and development. Nasaan na tayo? Ano na ang mga na-implement natin in terms of our harmonized gender and development guidelines, yung steps doon, ano na ang nagagawa at hindi pa nagagawa. In terms of gender mainstreaming evaluation framework, in terms of policy, people, enabling mechanism, and our PAPs, ano na doon ang na-implement or hindi pa. Sabi nga, mahirap or it's next to impossible for us to manage something na hindi na mi-measure. At mami-measure natin yun kapag atin na monitor at na-evaluate. Ito yung kulang sa atin sa DepEd. Implement tayo ng implement, no? Nakakalimutan natin na i-evaluate, i-monitor, i-evaluate kung nasaan na tayo. No? So we have to do that one. We have to embed that one in the implementation of programs, projects, and activities, especially for gender and development. Now, I'll go to these practical reminders in the preparation of CAD plan and budget for 2026. At sa mga taga Marikina na gustong tingnan ang bahaging ito, practical tips lang po ito. May 3 yata akong nilagay dito na pwede niyong i-consider. I'll go to 3 types of plans. 1, ito yung dati nating ginagawa. So, ito yung hopefully maging guide po ito sa inyo sa bahaging ito. Yung detailed na meron tayo ng 7 monthly advocacies with budget and additional identified activities. Ito yung may 7 monthly advocacies, nag-budget tayo dyan. And then, what else? Kung may iba pa tayong mga activities na projects or activities na na-identify, pinabudgetan natin. Ang concern lang dito sa ating first type of plan is that pag hindi mo nagawa, halimbawa napatupad yung sa Women's Month o kaya sa LGBT Pride Month, o kaya sa Breastfeeding Month, o kaya sa Children's Month, sa Peace Education Month, sa anti-VAUSI, Anti-Violence Against Women and Children, tapos Human Rights Month, ano pa bang nakalimutan natin? Kung may mga budget yan lahat, isa o dalawa, tatlo dyan hindi mo na-implement, naku, magkakaroon na yan ng effect doon sa 5% mo na binadgetan mo. So, eto yung dati nating ginagawa. Oh, it's up to you if you're going to go with that. Pero meron na ngayon at pinapayagan tayo at present na pwedeng gawin itong number 2. So, ano naman ang number 2? Number 2 is out of those process na ginawa natin, nakita natin ano yung mga kailangang bigyang diin. Pwede na muna tayong mag-focus doon. For example, meron tayong big ticket projects of activities, for example. Yan. Para saan? Pwede nating ihiwa-hiwalay. For example, para sa mga estudyante. Gumawa ka na ng activity, isang malakihang activity. Halimbawa, sa gender sensitivity, the use of gender fair language, Safe Spaces Act, ibigay mo na yan sa isang malakihang activity para sa mga bata. If you can also invite parents, you may include them. But of course, our target ay yung mga bata. Isang malakihang activity. That's one. Another activity na malakihan din. Teaching and non-teaching personnel ay pwede kayong magkaroon ng isang malakihang activity with teaching and the non-teaching personnel. At ginasusan pareho yun, may budget malaki, lagay nyo na dyan halos lahat. Pwedeng ang inyong monthly advocacies nandyan pa rin sa plan pero maaaring no cost. Or meron naman ng cost pag halimbawa mga advocacies pwedeng sa tarpaulin. Saan nyo pwedeng gawin? Pwede naman sa flag ceremonies, pwede sa classroom. Pero tapos na tayo dun sa malakihang projects or activities na ginawa natin. Una, para sa mga estudyante. Pwedeng isa o dalawa na malakihan. Depende sa inyo kung gaano kalaki ang iyong population. And then para sa mga magulang if you want to include them. Or sa teaching and the non-teaching personnel, isang malakihang activity ba yun? Tapos ang monthly advocacy natin, nandyan pa rin siya kasi minomonitor pa rin yan sa implementation. Pero maaaring no cost or kaya meron kayong cost for the tarpaulin. Yan. So, tingnan natin kung pwede ito. Yan. Actually, ito na yung ginagawa din namin sa division. Kaya madali naming na-utilize din yung aming fund for gender and development. Pero tuloy pa rin doon sa mga monthly advocacies. At gusto kong banggitin na lahat ng ating mga projects and activities ay dapat na do-document. Merong accomplishment report, meron tayo ng attendance, at nakalagay yan sa iisang folder lang. Lahat ng iyan ay kung pwede i-scan na ang mga accomplishment report, nakascan na po yan para pag hiningi ang documentation, alam nyo naman, pagdating sa pag-evaluate gamit ang GMF tool at iba pang mga documentation, hindi pwede ang kwento lang. Kailangan meron ng documentation. At dapat nakalagay na yan sa iisang folder. Kunyari, GAD 2025 folder, andun na lahat. Kung sa people man yan, sa policy, sa people, sa enabling mechanism, or PPAs, andun na nakalagay ang lahat ng ating mga documents para hindi tayo mahirapan mag-justify o kaya maggumawa ng accomplishment report kasi nandoon sila. And we understand sa God attribution, napakahalaga ng ating attendance kasi ina-attribute yung kanilang sweldo sa pag-attend doon sa ating mga God activities, both for teaching and the non-teaching personnel. Of course, yung mga parents, mga bata, wala namang sweldo yan, kaya hindi sila kasama sa God attribution. What else? Ang pangatlo ay ito yung bago. Magkakaroon ng menu of activities from the central office. I'd like to repeat, magkakaroon. So, ibig sabihin, as of now, wala pa. Kaya kung titingnan natin, kung gagawa tayo ng plano, I would suggest, yun yung last slide ko, I would suggest na mamili na tayo. Dito pa rin ba tayo sa number 1? Itong detalyado katulad ng ginagawa natin dati? Or dito tayo sa number 2 na may mga malakihan tayo mga projects or activities ayon doon sa numero, depende sa kung anong kakayanin ninyo, hiwa-hiwalayin nyo yung mga yan. Mga 2 activities ba or 3 para tapos na tayo. At yung monthly advocacy ay pwedeng no cost or with tarpaulin. At kung sakaling may changes man, hintayin natin yung galing sa central office na menu of activities, saka na tayo mag-adjust. So I'd like to give emphasis on these 3 types of plans. Yung detailed, yan. O kaya yung big ticket projects of activities for students, parents, for teaching and the non-teaching, at yung ating monthly advocacies ay no cost or with tarpaulin. So, eto yung ginagawa namin ngayon. If you'd like to consider that also, pwede nyo rin gawin yan. Saka na natin hintayin yung para galing sa central office na menu of activities. So if you have other questions, ang pinakamahalaga dito sa ating discussion ay yung dulo. But of course, yung references sa unang bahagi na aking diniscuss ay mahalaga din po yun na balikan ninyo para tama at aligned ang inyong plano na gagawin for God Plan 2026. Once again, this is Sunny Cortez, your God Focal Person, Division God Focal Person. I would like to appreciate your commitment, your dedication in the preparation of CAD plan and budget. And by doing that, we are serving a lot of people and we are allowing equity and equality. We are taking care. Nagbibigay tayo ng pagkalinga. Hindi para sa iilan, kung hindi para sa lahat. Both for men and women, of course, including the LGBTQIA+. Maraming salamat at hanggang sa susunod nating mga video information or um, video instructions. Thank you and bye for now.